The security guard's hand is on the man's shoulder when the manager's phone rings. One look at the caller ID and all color drains from his face. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. The Imperial Grand Hotel doesn't serve just anyone. 5-star luxury, crystal chandeliers, marble floors imported from Italy. A night here costs more than most people make in a month. Only the elite walk through these doors. At least, that's what Robert Caldwell believes. He's been the general manager for 8 years. He knows who belongs here. And the man walking toward the front desk right now definitely doesn't belong. He's wearing faded jeans, a wrinkled flannel shirt, work boots covered in dust. His gray hair needs cutting. His face is weathered and lined. He looks like he just finished a construction shift. Robert watches from his office window. His expression hardens. The front desk clerk Amanda greets the man politely. Robert can't hear the conversation, but he sees her typing. Her eyes widen slightly. She picks up the phone, calls his office. "Mr. Caldwell, we have a gentleman checking in for the presidential suite, but there seems to be—" "I'll be right there," Robert says curtly. He straightens his tie, smooths his designer suit. He walks down with purpose, authority radiating from every step. "Good afternoon," Robert says, approaching the desk. "I'm Robert Caldwell, the general manager. Is there a problem?" The man in dusty clothes turns to him. "No problem at all. Just checking in." Robert looks him over slowly. Those boots, that shirt. "And you are?" "James Mitchell," the man says calmly. "Mr. Mitchell has a reservation for the presidential suite," Amanda says quietly. "His card cleared, but I thought that's "I see," Robert interrupts. He forces a professional smile. "Mr. Mitchell, may I speak with you privately for a moment?" James nods. "Of course." Robert leads him to a corner of the lobby, away from other guests. "Sir, I want to be frank with you," Robert says, lowering his voice. "The presidential suite is our most exclusive accommodation. $20,000 per night. I'm concerned there may have been a booking error." "No error," James says. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable in one of our standard rooms," Robert suggests. "Much more affordable. Still very nice." "I reserved the presidential suite," James says. "That's what I'd like." Robert's smile tightens. "Sir, I don't mean to be indelicate, but do you understand the cost?" "I do." "And you're certain your payment method will clear?" "It already did," James says. "Your clerk ran it." Robert glances back at Amanda. She nods confirmation. This doesn't make sense. Robert's been in luxury hospitality for 20 years. He can read people. This man is clearly working class. The clothes, the calloused hands, the humble demeanor. The card must be stolen, or maybe a scam. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to need additional verification," Robert says. "For security purposes. We've had issues with fraud recently." It's a lie, but it buys him time. "What do you need?" James asks patiently. "A secondary form of payment, bank statement, proof of funds." "I don't carry bank statements," James says. "Then I'm afraid I can't authorize the reservation," Robert says firmly. James looks at him for a long moment. "You're refusing me service?" "I'm following security protocols," Robert says. "Even though my card cleared?" "Even so." James nods slowly. "I see." He doesn't argue, doesn't raise his voice. He simply walks to one of the lobby chairs and sits down. Robert frowns. "Sir, if you're not checking in—" "I'll wait," James says, "until you can verify my funds." Robert's jaw clenches. "That could take hours." "I have time," James says. Robert walks back to Amanda. Keep an eye on him. If he causes any disturbance, call security. He seems harmless, Amanda says. Just watch him, Robert snaps. An hour passes. James sits quietly, hands folded in his lap. Other guests come and go. They glance at him with confusion, some with disgust. Robert stands in his office, watching through the window. This man is hurting the hotel's image, just sitting there in his dusty work clothes. A wealthy couple enters the lobby. The Hendersons. They stay here twice a year. Mrs. Henderson spots James and wrinkles her nose. She leans toward her husband, whispering. Robert rushes out to greet them personally. Mr. and Mrs. Henderson, so wonderful to see you again. Let me personally escort you to the penthouse. He shoots a pointed look at James. 2 more hours pass. James hasn't moved, hasn't pulled out a phone, hasn't complained. He just sits there watching. Robert is getting anxious now. This is becoming a situation. His assistant manager, Kevin, approaches. Robert, maybe we should just let him check in. His card cleared. We're technically in the wrong here. He's clearly running some kind of scam, Robert insists. Or he's just a paying guest who doesn't dress fancy, Kevin says. Look at him, Kevin. Look at those clothes, those boots. He probably works construction. There's no way he can afford the presidential suite. Rich people dress down sometimes, Kevin points out. Not like that, Robert says. The head of security, Marcus, walks over. We getting complaints about the guy in the lobby? From who? Robert asks. The Pattersons in Suite 412. Said he makes them uncomfortable. Asked if he's homeless. Robert's face flushes. See? He's driving away real guests. What do you want me to do? Marcus asks. Ask him to leave. If he refuses, escort him out. Marcus hesitates. His reservation is valid, Robert. That's legally tricky. Just do it, Robert orders. Marcus walks over to James. Robert watches from a distance. He can see Marcus speaking, sees James shake his head calmly. Marcus's hand moves toward James's shoulder, and Robert's phone rings. He glances at the screen. His blood runs cold. The caller ID reads, William Ashford, owner. William Ashford owns the Imperial Grand Hotel chain, 15 properties worldwide. Robert has only spoken to him twice in 8 years, both times for major issues. Why is he calling now? Robert's hand trembles as he answers. Mr. Ashford. Good afternoon, sir. Robert, I need you to listen very carefully. William Ashford's voice is ice. Is there a man in your lobby right now named James Mitchell? Robert's stomach drops. Yes, sir. There is, but do not touch him. Do not let your security touch him. Go to him right now and apologize. Sir, I don't understand. James Mitchell is one of my oldest friends, Ashford says. He built half the hotels in this chain with his own hands. He was my foreman for 20 years before he retired. The room spins around Robert. He's also the single largest investor in my company, Ashford continues. He owns 12% of our entire operation, which means he technically owns part of your hotel. Robert can't breathe. He called me 30 minutes ago, Ashford says. Told me he was being refused service at one of my properties. Do you know how that makes me look, Robert? Mr. Ashford, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. You didn't know because you judged him by his clothes, Ashford cuts him off. James Mitchell is worth $42 million. He could buy your hotel with cash. But he still wears the same work clothes he's worn for 40 years because he's humble. Robert wants to disappear. Now you're going to walk over to him, Ashford says. You're going to apologize profusely. You're going to upgrade him to the best suite we have, complimentary, and you're going to pray he doesn't ask me to fire you. The line goes dead. Robert stands frozen. His career is over. He knows it. He walks toward James on shaking legs. Marcus is still standing there, hand on James's shoulder. "Marcus, step away," Robert says. His voice cracks. Marcus looks confused but steps back. Robert kneels down. Right there in the lobby, eye level with James. "Mr. Mitchell," he says, "I owe you a profound apology." James looks at him calmly, says nothing. "I judged you based on your appearance," Robert continues. "That was wrong. Completely wrong. You are absolutely welcome here. I'd like to upgrade you to our Imperial Suite, our finest accommodation, complimentary for your entire stay." "I just wanted the room I booked," James says quietly. "I understand, sir, but please, let me make this right." James studies him for a long moment. "Why the change of heart?" Robert could lie, should lie, but he doesn't. "William Ashford called me," Robert admits. "Told me who you are, what you mean to this company." "I see," James says. "So if he hadn't called, you'd have thrown me out?" Robert swallows hard. "Probably, yes." "At least you're honest," James says. He stands up slowly. His knees crack slightly. "Mr. Caldwell, I didn't come here to cause trouble," James says. "I came because I helped build this hotel. With these hands." He holds up his calloused palms. "I poured the foundation, laid the marble floors, installed those chandeliers. Every detail of this place, I worked on it." Robert feels smaller by the second. "I wanted to stay here once," James continues. "Just once. To sleep in a place I built. To see it from a guest's perspective." His voice is heavy with emotion. "But you took one look at me and decided I wasn't good enough," James says. "Even though my money is just as green as anyone else's. Even though I probably care more about this hotel than most people who stay here." "Mr. Mitchell, I'm so sorry," Robert whispers. "You're sorry because you got caught," James says. "Not because you were wrong." The words hit like a punch. "How many other people have you turned away?" James asks. "Because they didn't look rich enough? Because they didn't dress right? How many people who worked hard, saved money, wanted one nice experience, and you denied them?" Robert has no answer. "I don't want your free suite," James says. "I'll pay for my room, just like I planned." He walks back to the desk. Amanda checks him in quickly, hands shaking. James takes his key and heads toward the elevator. He pauses, turns back. "Mr. Caldwell, I'm going to tell you something my father told me," James says. "Never judge a book by its cover, because the dustiest book on the shelf might contain the most valuable story." The elevator doors close. Robert stands in the lobby, surrounded by luxury he no longer feels worthy of. His phone buzzes. Email from William Ashford. "We'll discuss your future with this company tomorrow, 9 a.m., my office." Robert sinks into a chair. Amanda approaches quietly. "Sir, what just happened?" "I ruined everything," Robert says, "because I forgot the most basic rule of hospitality. Everyone deserves respect." That night, Robert can't sleep. He thinks about every guest he's turned away. Every person he deemed not fancy enough. How many James Mitchells has he rejected? The next morning, he drives to corporate headquarters. His resignation letter is in his briefcase. William Ashford's office overlooks the city. James Mitchell is sitting across from him. "Sit down, Robert," Ashford says. Robert sits. He pulls out the letter. "I'm resigning effective immediately," Robert says. "What I did was unforgivable." "James and I have been talking," Ashford says. "He doesn't want you fired." Robert looks up, shocked. "He wants you educated," Ashford continues. "Starting next month." You'll spend 6 months working at each of our properties, not as a manager, as staff. You'll work front desk, housekeeping, maintenance. You'll see this business from the ground up. Robert's eyes fill with tears. You'll learn what James learned building these hotels, Ashford says, that every person who walks through our doors deserves dignity, regardless of how they look. I'll do it, Robert says. Thank you, both of you. James stands, extends his hand. Robert shakes it, those calloused, work-worn hands, the hands that built an empire. 6 months later, Robert returns to the Imperial Grand. He's different now, humbler, wiser. His first day back, a young woman walks in. She's wearing scrubs, hair messy from a hospital shift. The new front desk clerk eyes her skeptically. Robert approaches immediately. "Welcome to the Imperial Grand," he says warmly. "How can we help you today?" The woman smiles, surprised by the genuine welcome. "I'm a nurse," she says. "I've been saving for 2 years. I'd like to book a room for my anniversary." "It would be our honor," Robert says. He personally handles her check-in, upgrades her room, makes sure everything is perfect, because he finally learned what James Mitchell tried to teach him. That luxury isn't about designer clothes or expensive cars. It's about treating every human being with respect, that the true measure of a person isn't what they wear, it's how they treat others, and that sometimes the most valuable people walk through your door in dusty work boots. You just have to have the wisdom to see it. If this story moved you, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever been judged by your appearance or learned a powerful lesson about respect? Share your experience below. It might inspire someone else today. And if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, everyone you meet deserves your respect. You never know their story. Thanks for watching.